welcome to the Barfly Tailgate show. You already know it's live. It's done by Barflies, for Barflies, and all the other fans out there. So, I took a little week break, a little week off, went out to Cali. I know AC's, going to bust my balls for some movie recording thing and all that, or whatever it was that you guys were talking shit about last week. But that's okay. It's good to be back. Not much news in the whole Bears territory, but we're gonna draw some stuff up for you guys and see what we got. Let me kick this thing off by introducing the crew. First, we got Mr. Ryan Badgley. Badge of Honor. What's up, dude?
Welcome back, Bobby Bombs, and not to put Eldo right on the spot here, but I'm just fucking pulling my punch card right now. Bobby Bombs! Okay. We've got a little special surprise for you, my friend.
Yeah,
the guys and I wanted to do something special for you for your 20 years of service in the military. I know you got the Portillos. We sent you a nice little bottle of Maker's Mark.
Oh, yes,
Bobby,
sir.
You are our badge of honor for your 20 years of service in the military this week. And we have got a wonderful little video compilation that Eldo has put together. And Eldo, let's do it.
This is where it gets bad. I don't trust this part, but go ahead.
Hell yeah. So, dude, we wanted to do that for you. So that logo image, you've got Jamie's working on a ball for you. That's what the ball will look like when she sends it. And congratulations, brother. Right here, man, nothing but love and respect for you and your family, bro.
Thank you. I just knowing you guys for a handful of years now. You said there's going to be a video. I was like, oh, fuck, here we go. What is this going to be and how bad? But that was very well put together. Thank you, fellas. I appreciate it, man. And, we went out to Cali last week. Some of our close friends, 2 families live out there. And one of them was also hit his 20-year mark about 4 days before me. We were both in boot camp at the same time. And, friendships have lasted. And it was great just going out there and hanging out with those dudes. And basically, just doing I guess you'd call it the military thing. We unloaded a bunch of fucking ammo into the side of mountains and, drove side by sides up the top. And I went rock climbing to probably a spot where I shouldn't have been, being 42 years old, because the wind probably would have blew my brittle ass away. But either way, it was a good time, man, and we had a great time out there. But I definitely appreciate it, boys. Thank you very much.
Hell yeah, man.
All right, let's keep this thing moving. Mr. AC, Aaron Current, the bearded bear. What up, dude?
What's going on, man? Finally starting to feel like springtime around here. I threw some burgers on the grill the other day just to kind of ring it in the right way. And thanks for coming back. I appreciate your service, Bobby. you said shooting some guns in the mountains and riding side by sides. That's a weekend. That's a weekend event here in Kentucky. That's just how we get down. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's great to have you back. The weather's back to being nice down here in Kentucky, and ready to talk some ball with you guys.
Absolutely, man. And AC didn't say. I gave AC a call at like 2:00 in the morning the other night because I was on a random prior service and military veterans calling 22 of them that are active and online at the time just to fucking see how they're doing and whatever. And I got a little carried away. I called a shitload of people, but it was fucking fun. Next we got Mr. Mike Schaefer. Mikey, Mike, what's up, brother?
What up, fellas? Bobby Bomb's getting misty-eyed on a Sunday morning, just another Sunday morning, just a usual Sunday morning at the Barfly Tailgate show. So awesome to see you. Congratulations again on all that stuff. I don't think we can emphasize that enough. I'm excited to spring into free agency with you guys today, see what we got cooking around the league. This weekend, I got my first car wash of the year. So for me, that's sort of the pivotal turning point from cold to warm. So hoping that the temperatures start to roll through here, and who knows, maybe free agency heats up pretty soon. So we'll see what we got.
A lot of metaphors there.
Normally I'm teary-eyed. Normally I'm teary-eyed after the Bears game, but either way. All right, let's kick this thing off with the 5 free agents that we brought back. Exclusive rights free agents. That we had come back. Alex Bars. We'll start off with this one with Alex Bars. AC, let's start off with you, man. We don't really have the contract breakdown details of. I don't think that's been released yet of what getting paid, but Bars is one of the first ones that got solidified that he's coming back. What do you think about bringing back Bars and what he means to this offensive line?
I love it. I don't think it matters what it costs to bring him back. The way he played for us, the grit and determination that he showed on that offensive line was really a turning point of our O-line going from complete trash to, all right. So I feel like Alex Bars, even if he's sat down to be a backup this year because James Daniels is coming back, I feel like he's one of the best backup guards in the league and can step in at a number of positions and help us out along that offensive line.
Yeah, agreed, man. He's kind of was like that Swiss Army knife of the line. I think he had like 2 games at left guard.
He even played a game at center.
A couple games at center, then like 5 games at right guard. He even went into that playoff game at right guard. So I agree. I think bringing him back was a move. I mean, the kid came in as an undrafted free agent. Spent his time on the practice squad and worked his way up, man. And here he is. So they were able to sign him already because it's one of those exclusive. I think it's called exclusive free agents, or maybe it's an exclusive tender. Basically, he's been in the league for less than 3 years, been on the same team, so they're able to go ahead and solidify that up now. Badge, what do you think about Bars? About them bringing Bars back, and what does it say? Good.
Yeah, I love it. I think as AC said, I mean, it's depth. But this is a guy I think that could possibly compete for a starting spot at right tackle. If not left tackle. Everybody's for whatever reason, continuing to dog Charles Leno. That's everybody else's prerogative. Does he have things to work on? Absolutely. But that's every person in their life every day has something to work on when it comes to the job they perform. Alex Bars is a guy who can, force a Charles Leno, any one of these other offensive linemen to have to work harder and, really focus to, keep their job. I think Alex Bars played very well last season. I mean, spot start at center, and played freaking excellent, man. I really believe that the Alex Bars re-sign, is a huge benefit to this team. I'm not saying don't go out now and not look for other offensive linemen. This draft is deep in a class of offensive tackles. So take 2 or 3 of them. I'm not saying, if you can get one high, depending on how your other issues in free agency are, then okay, great. But Bars, to me, I love the re-sign. Happy he's back, and I hope he has a spot on this offensive line. And I just hope it's not due to injury.
Yeah, exactly. Or just to be that that valued backup, man. I mean, like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about it throughout the year, but we went in with a starting offensive line, and then every backup behind them was an undrafted free agent. Were guys who we had, kind of rolled the dice on and hoped, would happen. I mean, we had guys on the practice squad, right, that were 7th round picks, whatever, but the majority of these guys that were coming out behind them were all undrafted free agents. So to see a guy succeed, get a new contract, I like it, and I like Bars being here. Mike, let's go over to you now.
How about succeeding without Harry Heastand?
Yeah,
because him and Sam Mustipher were guys that came here because of Heastand, and then Heastand is a scapegoat for Nagy, and they bring in Juan Castillo, and these guys stick around and perform very well without Harry Heastand here. Sorry to cut you off, Bobby and Mike, but yeah, I just think that's a point of emphasis that really should be talked about as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. I mean, either way, man, the way that these dudes came in, but I mean, then again, you flip it, right? And yeah, Harry might have brought him here or was the pushing factor to get him here, but none of those dudes are going to be like, oh, Harry's gone, I'm out, I'm off this team, fuck this. Nobody's going to do that shit. They're like, yo, you going to pay me some more? Okay, let me stick around. Yeah, it's tough. I love Harry, buddy. Sorry, buddy. And that's going to be the end of that. Let's go to JP. Go over to what, Mike?
A lot more that could be said about Alex Bars than what was already said about Alex Bars. Yeah. But I think the key going into this next season is that there's a lot of question marks across the line. Of where people are going to be, who's going to be back, is Maxey going to be back? If there's a cap crunch, that could mean that Leno could be a cut. I don't want to see him go, but that's a possibility depending on where we are with cap. So a guy like Bars, man, I mean, his versatility, you plugged him in wherever last year, and he played well. He didn't play bad. It was very rare that you'd watch a game and point to a mistake that Bars made. So I think we said it last week. It was a no-brainer to bring him back for those reasons, and let's see where he ends up.
Yeah, exactly. Mike, let's stay with you, man. Let's kick it over to JP Holtz. Holtz is, brought back, I know, couple like the big moves in the offseason, right? Bringing in Jimmy Graham, drafting Cole Kmet. The Bears, like we said, we don't have the breakdown or years or whatever, but JP Holtz coming back. Is this a guy that you think is just is he just special teams, a roster piece, or is he actually going to get some time in there to show some talent?
I mean, he's a depth tight end, and I think that we don't really have a true wide tight end, and I think he can kind of play that role. They probably won't be doing much in free agency if Jimmy Graham's back, so you gotta assume a lot of the guys that are comfortable with the system, that can be a little bit more complicated. If it's Nagy's system, you want the familiarity. You don't want to be bringing in guys that aren't familiar with it. So not surprised at all by the signing. I think it's a good depth move to keep him on the roster. And just let's continue to let Cole Kmet grow in that position. He's going to be a star on this team. At some point, they will have to replace Jimmy Graham with a Jimmy Graham type of a complement to Kmet. But for the time being, I think Holtz is he's gonna play a role on this team.
I think it kind of shocked me, honestly, with Holtz, and I don't want to sit here and try and dog the guy. he's got a lot of heart, and he made some decent plays a couple of years ago. But I just felt like of the players that they re-signed, he was probably the easiest to replace either via the draft or going out and get a lower level free agent like we saw last week. You were talking about the salary cap crunch, and the Saints released both their tight ends, and Josh Hill, if anyone remembers, is the guy that Ryan Pace kind of went after and tried to pull from them, and they I think they hit him with some sort of tag, and Ryan Pace tried to bring him to Chicago, and they matched the offer, so he stayed in New Orleans or something like that. So I just felt like, I mean, like I already said, J.P. Holtz, good dude, a lot of heart. You know, he stepped in and played fullback when we needed one. He'll do whatever you ask him to do, but I felt like that was a piece they could replace for cheaper. I mean, like I said, we don't know the contract numbers yet, but I'm assuming he's going to make more than a first-year player who they either draft or a UDFA that they bring in. So I don't know.
I think Holtz is a depth piece, a special teams piece. You know, I would prefer an actual fullback over, you know, having Holtz personally. There are some guys, there are some fullbacks out there that, you know, make their teams better and make their run game better. Not that Holtz was bad, you know, but I would just rather see an actual fullback instead of having that, you know, tight end as the lead blocker. You know, but I understand the signing. He's a big special teams piece. Agree with you, Ravi. I want a true fullback totally. You know, but
I don't know if
it.
Nagy knows how to use a fullback. We had Mike
I
Burton
don't
in
think he
here,
knows how
and
to
we
do much of
dogged
anything,
him
but-
for years because he didn't do anything. Now he's down in New Orleans opening holes for Alvin Kamara like it ain't nothing. Like it's doing his job. I don't know if that's got to go back to coaching, right?
I mean, that's been the biggest issue of this team, and I think in most of our opinions on this show is the head coach and his staff not doing their part and not taking responsibility for the personnel decisions that they're making. Not enough is said about that. I don't think. You know, you had a couple of big name analysts, you know, mention it on ESPN or whatnot, but you know, it's at this point, it is what it is.
Yeah. I think you're muted, Bobby.
I unmuted. I'm pretty certain that it's obviously not going to be like a back-breaking contract that JP Holtz just signed, right? I mean, he's brought back in. It's probably a 1 year and no more than a 2 year deal. And he knows, like he's been in the locker room. Maybe we don't know what he brings to the table in the development of Cole Kmet. We don't know what he's doing, you know, under the tutelage of Jimmy Graham and working in that tight end room. So I saw it as more beneficial, right, to bring him back on a 1 year than to sign another guy absolutely nothing, and they're going to teach more power to him. Let it go. You know what I mean? I'm good with Holtz coming back. I'm honestly good with all these guys. One of them that was, you know, the fan favorite, stick last offensive player, the fan favorite, the camp champ that's coming back is Ryan Null. Bears went ahead and gave him another contract to bring him back. I know he's you love you some Null. I think we all do, just to see him. But that's a guy who I think could be a fullback and could be a very decent fullback. He's shown that he can block. He's shown that he can open holes. He's got the weight and the body to go ahead and do it. He's only had a couple plays right there at fullback, but to have a guy like that back there and you know, I think would be a better bet than running JP Holtz at fullback. Badge, over to you, man. What do you think about bringing back Ryan Null?
I mean, I said it 2 years ago. Make this guy your fullback. Have him add some weight. Have him bulk up a little bit, and make this guy your fullback. You know why they haven't. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of people I noticed that really don't have a care for Ryan Nall when they announced his re-signing the other day. Um, he's a depth piece. He got some reps. Meldo had just posted. He scored his first touchdown week 9. He made some impact plays for the team, and he's a core special teamer. And I think a lot of that gets overlooked because a lot of your normal fandom, people aren't really paying attention to kickoffs and punts unless it's a special play, where there's a big touchdown or a big play or anything along those lines. Where, Nall, he's a core special teamer. He's in on a lot of tackles, makes a lot of plays. I want to say he may have forced the fumble on a kickoff late in the season or recovered the fumble that the kickoff coverage team had late in the season. I can't remember if he forced it or recovered it, but to me, it's a great re-sign. It gives you depth at that running back position. Now with Tariq Cohen coming back, now is he a piece that I would have taken over a Cordarrelle Patterson? I mean, probably not. But if you do see CP come back, still to me, Nall has a spot on this roster.
Mm-hmm. I think you hit the nail on the head there. Ditto to everything you just said. He's a core special teamer. We could easily plug him in at fullback, and I think he'd succeed if we want to run an offense with a fullback. He's also deceptively fast. He doesn't look like he would be as quick as he is in the open field. Now he's no Tariq Cohen quick, but he doesn't shy away from contact, and I like Ryan Nall. I think he's a good dude.
Yeah.
He's got to be a good. He's got to be good in that locker room. Remember, we're building this culture. We got this this collaborative effort to put together a great culture, and he's a part of that.
Collaborate special team but I mean, I think these restricted free agent signings, like they're to me that these aren't going to be the most impactful signings we make of the year. But what do you look at, right? You look at snap count, right? So Nall's on every single special team snap, right? Like how the team counts on some of these guys. There's a couple other names on this list of free agents that aren't necessarily on the field, or when they had the opportunity to be on the field, they weren't. So like Josh Woods, for example, I'm a little bit more surprised by. But again, these are depth pieces early. Nall's a no-brainer. Another guy that's just we've counted on him, for the last couple of seasons or last season especially. But I think it's good to have him back.
Yeah, agree. And like you were saying, we'll go ahead and move right into the defense and Josh Woods and stay with you, Mike. I know you said you were surprised. It's definitely a guy I was surprised about. The only thing I could think of is the possibility, right, that they're playing the quarterback game. The possibility of trading Roquan is still on the table. I mean, granted, I know all of Chicago doesn't want it to happen, but it's on the table for sure, I think. And then the second thing is Danny Trevathan. And, I'd say the last couple of years he's been more injury prone than previous, but he's getting up there in age. And Woods is also a good, he provides a lot on special teams. So what's your thoughts about keeping Woods, man?
Yeah, I'm just surprised because, you look at the last couple games of the season with Roquan out in that playoff game, he had a shot. He had an opportunity to shine, and I think Manti Te'o took more steps. Yeah. So it's here's a guy, he knew the system, he was on the active roster, and he had an opportunity, and there was a reason, that he didn't see the field there. So I don't know, he could have been injured. I might be looking into that maybe a little bit more. Maybe there's something that was nagging him. But he was the only, like I said, he's the only name on this list that I sort of did a double take on. But again, at this point in the season, we're free agency needs to play out yet. Camp needs to play out yet. Preseason, all that kind of stuff. Like, you don't know, are these guys going to actually end up or A, on the roster, or B, in a prominent role. But at this stage, like I said, that's to me, I was a little bit surprised with the Woods.
Yeah, I think we all agree that depending, right? It's you're back to that thing, depending on how much they paid him and what they're keeping him for. It's really going to play a part. You're going to have a lot of these teams. I mean, I think it's been solidified that the cap's going to be at 180. All right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's 100% solidified or if that's the guess, but a lot of dudes are going to have to go.
We've already seen some crazy cuts.
Yeah. And they're going to have to keep on making them, man. There's going to be a lot of talent out there when this ripple effect happens throughout the NFL. There's going to be other linebackers out there. Are they going to be better than Josh Woods? I would say that it's really not that hard to get to that. But who knows, man? I mean, I think some of these guys were locked up because of, unfortunately, like AC said, because of their character and this and that. But who knows, man? Badge, the other one we got, and we'll just keep these two together, in conversation with Woods. But the other one we got is James Vaughters. Vaughters was also brought back. He's the final, the fifth one that we have for right now that was brought back. What's your thoughts on these two coming back, man? And and take it from there.
I mean, I would have preferred Manti Te'o over Josh Woods, personally, just based on the fact that Woods didn't get the start in the playoff game. Clearly they didn't have faith in him or Joel Iyiegbuniwe that they would make an impact defensively in the Saints game, and went with a guy that sat on the practice squad all year. Nothing against Josh Woods, great dude, hell of a competitor. It's a good, depth piece. But is he taking that next step to where if Roquan or Danny goes down, are him or Iggy going to be the guys that take their place in the event of injury? To me, it didn't look like that. Obviously it's one game. So to try to look into the entire season and what we don't know. James Vaughters, to me, Vaughters and what action he saw. I mean, aside from Khalil Mack, the production from the other outside linebackers was fucking ridiculous. Yeah. So, why? Barkevious Mingo, I thought played well. He's a guy that I would like to have seen re-signed over James Vaughters. Now, obviously, veteran player, he's going to cost a little bit more money with the cap the way it is, yada, yada, yada. But the Vaughters thing, I think it's a cost thing. He's cheaper than a Mingo's going to be, and it's another year in the system, and maybe they can pull something out of him this season.
I think Vaughters is he's one of those preseason warriors. When you see him in the preseason, they're making these splash plays, and you're like, okay, this dude might have something. And then once they play the higher competition of the starting offensive linemen, they're just not able to keep. They're just not at that level. Yeah. And Josh Woods, just like you guys said, the way, and I'm not even a Notre Dame fan. Y'all know I'm a UK fan, so it's not even like a homer in me. I thought Manti Te'o stepped in and played, the best we could have expected at such a short notice in that playoff game. I mean, he's a better depth piece to me than Josh Woods, but that probably also, just like Badge said, goes back to money. Te'o's been around the league for a little bit, and he was pretty sure he was a draft pick and stuff. And Josh Woods was an undrafted free agent. He's, we brought him in, and he's been in this system, and he's a core special teamer. I don't know how many tackles he had on special teams, but I know he's a big special teamer guy.
I would venture.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but just because we didn't sign Mingo in this restricted period, that doesn't mean we won't sign him once free agency opens, right? We just, he wasn't signed one of these undisclosed contracts that we're discussing. Because I want to see him back. I thought he made some good plays. So if I'm prioritizing him or Vaughters, sure, I would do that. But again, we don't know what Vaughters got, and we don't know for certain that Mingo won't be back on a team-friendly deal either once free agency opens up.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, a lot of guys are going to have to take contracts that are team friendly or long term that build into the upcoming years, hoping that the cap builds back up and does that. But the last thing, so on Woods, and I like you were kind of saying, AC, I think Manti Te'o is a better inside linebacker. I think Woods is a better special team player. If that makes any sense. I think Woods on special teams just set it free and go, right, and get after somebody. We've seen him make some big tackles on special teams, but on the defensive side of the ball, I think Manti can just read an offense better. He knows how to control things. He knows where to be and when to be there. So, yeah, I think Manti is a better inside backer. I think Woods is a better special teamer. And who knows? Maybe they both come back, or maybe we sit and we're fishing on guys who, who get cut from other teams because of the cap. So, I think that's where we're at on these ones. I know we got a couple of questions from the chat, so let's queue up one of these questions from the chat and see what we got here. First one we got the fact.
Go ahead,
the factor one. What did you guys think about Chris Sims' draft quarterback rankings? He had Mac Jones over Fields, Lance, and then it cut off on me. But
he said Mac is a better thrower than Trevor Lawrence. So this is what you guys know I'm a huge Mac Jones fan. And the only thing I could think of, like Zach Wilson's getting a lot of love. I don't think he's number one. I think Trevor Lawrence has been number one since he took over for Kelly Bryant down there at Clemson. And Mac Jones is shooting up draft boards at the way he throws. I think he's got the prettiest deep ball in college football. Kellen Mond, I don't know why he's got him above Justin Fields and Trey Lance. Other than, and I talked to Neil Stopchinski about this last week after they did their Draft on Tap show. Trey Lance, where he only played 1 year at a small school, not great competition, he's got the biggest bust possibility of the top 5 quarterbacks. And then I talked to him about Justin Fields because nobody from Ohio State has come to the league and done anything. Now, you got to take that with a grain of salt because the same thing happened at Oregon where nobody came in and did anything. And then Justin Herbert came in and looked pretty damn good last year. So I don't agree with Chris Sims' list. To me, like I just said, Trevor Lawrence is 1, Zach Wilson 2, and he didn't even play great competition at BYU either. So, and then to me, it's Mac Jones 3, or Justin Fields 3, Mac Jones 4, and then Trey Lance 5 for all the reasons that I just talked about.
Yeah, I think what makes the Chris Sims list kind of interesting is that if you followed his QB lists in the past, he's been dead right. In 2019, I've got the list right in front of me right now. In 2018, he had Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen ahead of Baker Mayfield. And everybody said Baker Mayfield was your number one. 2019, he had Kyler Murray, Drew Lock, Dwayne Haskins, Ryan Finley, his top 4. So he's hit. I think this is why, like, this whole Chris Sims thing's been around in the media this week. A lot of tweets. It's like, okay, hey, we've all had Trevor Lawrence as our number one. I haven't really seen any list outside of Chris Sims that says anybody else could possibly replace him. So when you that, to me, that's why I do the eyebrow raise. I see Mac Jones at 3 here. Most of the mocks I'm looking at, Mac Jones falling to the Bears potentially at 20. The Bears could possibly get him. So he's got him higher, obviously. Kellen Mond sticks out to me as a guy that maybe we could get if Chris Sims, again, is this like quarterback whisperer and knows what we don't know, and he gets tomorrow's newspaper today and all that kind of bullshit. Hey, man, maybe we get lucky on a Mond in the second round or something. So, I think his track record makes this list interesting. His track record of hitting on guys that, that go out of order. But I would agree with you, AC, in your list. I would agree exactly in that order thing. But it'll be interesting to see how this plays out and if he's right again. Nostra quarterback is.
Yeah.
My thing on how is Kellen Mond on this fucking list? I mean, I haven't seen a lot of him, but I've seen fucking Senior Bowl.
I've seen quite a bit of Kellen Mond, and his biggest thing is inconsistency. He reminds me a lot of Dak Prescott, but a less consistent Dak Prescott, and not as athletic as Dak Prescott. But he's able to run around. He's got a pretty decent deep ball. But you'll see him play really well one game, and then the next game he'll disappear or throw 3 picks.
Yeah, I mean, I watch the Senior Bowl, and I'm sitting here, and everybody's talking about this guy, and I'm watching him throw, and he's fucking. I mean, I could throw left-handed and be more accurate than this motherfucker. Like, I don't get I'm not getting how he's now. If Chris Sims is a quarterback whisperer, I'll shut the fuck up. Right. But I don't know. I'm not. I mean. I'm far from a quarterback judge of talent, but I just don't see it with this guy. I mean, his legs, I think his legs make him attractive. Mm-hmm. You've seen what Lamar Jackson how he has changed the NFL, but I mean, look at RG3. RG3 was a guy for the first couple years of his career. He changed the game, the way the NFL, and now where is he? He's backing up Lamar Jackson,
right?
So these things where yes, you got to have a quarterback that can move, but I don't. Mm-hmm. I'm not. Why isn't every team doing this then? Because it eventually doesn't work anymore. So
if the Bears grab offensive tackle first round and say we go after an edge rusher in the second round or something, or even another guard. And then we grab Kellen Mond in the third or fourth round, I'd be fine with that. But to have him fourth on the list, I just don't see it. And just like you said, Badge, I'm no quarterback whisperer. I just know I know what I see out of some players, and I see a lot of inconsistency out of Kellen Mond, and I don't see how you can have him fourth on your list over Justin Fields, who went toe to toe with Clemson and
agreed.
Just I mean, he struggled against Northwestern and Indiana, which they play defense, and then they their defense keeps them in the game. So it's not like Justin Fields hasn't struggled in college, but I just feel like the level of competition and the way he played puts him. I just don't see it in Kellen Mond, man. I'm sorry, Chris Sims. If it's,
I agree with you, AC. I don't think he should be up there. But then again, I mean, if Sims has hit before, who knows what?
Yeah,
who knows
yeah.
what
I didn't know that. But
if you're going to take him in, like that third round or whatever, then sure. You know what I mean? I, unlike you guys, don't think that we're going to have a first round pick.
I mean, if we go get Russ, baby, if we go get Russ and let Russ cook in Chicago, I don't want my first round pick.
Yeah, no shit. I don't think we're gonna. I mean, it's obviously not that big of a deal. Everybody's saying I don't want to mortgage the future, whatever. To like, what were our other first round picks? There's not a
exactly.
After this season, there's not a single one of them in the building.
Yep.
Yeah, after the season, I mean, Roquan's still there, but after this, I mean, holy shit, Kevin White, Leonard Floyd, Mr. Trubisky, 2 gone for Mac. I mean, that's 5 fucking years of first-round picks right there, and people are like, oh, we can't mortgage the future. What do you mean? We bought a house that's no longer fucking standing. Like, mortgaging the future. Yeah, like, whatever. We got –
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
The Rams are a team that's built an awesome roster with no first-round picks for 6 seasons, You look at Ryan Pace. What are his strengths? His strengths are the middle of the draft, at the end of the draft.
Yeah.
Trading your first round picks doesn't mean you're trading your entire selection. You keep your second pick. You keep your third round pick. So there's still opportunities to find guys that can play roles. They absolutely should just give these first round picks away. Build this team with proven talent that we know today. It's not just good talent. Russell Wilson's top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Deshaun Watson, top 3 quarterback in the NFL. You got 2 options, all the first round picks you want. Let's put that to rest.
Yeah. I agree, man. And I mean, say you had a top 5 pick, right? Then maybe I'm a little more so like, well, what else could we do with this thing besides trading it away? Whatever. But I think outside of the first 5 picks, I think everybody else is as much of a gamble as a third rounder or a fourth rounder.
Time out. 4,000 Clovers just said Russell Wilson is not top 5. Please give me your list, Mr. Clovers. Give me your list of your top 5 quarterback that does not have Russell Wilson in it. I'll wait.
We'll just sit here.
I follow that up with he's barely top 10.
Are you freaking? Come on, dude. Really?
What was the other? He's barely top 10. Oh, God. Clovers, dude. Come on. Put the bottle down. We had another question from the chat that we wanted to get at, and then we'll come back and and battle it out with Clovers. We might just have to call his ass up and get him on the show.
Right. Thinking of 2021 season, what should Bears fan be most optimistic about? Well,
Russell Wilson.
We just covered it. If we trade for Russell Wilson, that's the all. And the crazy thing that came out this week about Russ is that the reason he likes Chicago is our improving O-line, which we just touched on, and he likes Matt Nagy, having an offensive-minded head coach. So we dog Nagy, yet Allen Robinson, remember when he came, he was like, I came because I like Matt Nagy's system and I know he's going to work. I'm going to work well in it. And now you've got Russell Wilson saying the same thing.
And Lucky, don't blow past what your first sentence where he said that the Bears have the offensive line he wants to play behind. That they have an up-and-coming offensive line that really turned it up last year. And I was sitting there like, is this motherfucker, like, which games did he watch?
Right.
You know, like, trying to think what his bye week was and what game did he get to see. But it kind of, you know, I was kind of caught off guard too, AC, with the same comments. I mean, you got Russ saying that he wants to play in a Nagy-style offense. That he believes that Nagy can push him to that next level. And then the whole offensive line thing. I mean, Nagy and Pace and their presser, and I know it was covered on with Aldo and Dan, but Nagy and Pace and their presser came out and they're pretty open. They can't talk about Russ and they can't talk about Watson specific because of contract
on those other teams.
Yeah, because it's considered tampering, right? But Nagy said he's like, hey, I want a quarterback that takes charge of the field, that leads the field, and if he's got some legs, that would be nice too. So
I like the factors list, but I would swap Wilson and Brady. I think Wilson's better than Brady. Brady overall career, absolutely the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Seven Super Bowls, more Super Bowls than any other franchise in history. So nothing more than it can be said. But at this moment right here, I might even put Mahomes over Rodgers. So you've got Mahomes in this order. To me, it's Mahomes, Rodgers, Wilson, and I don't know, maybe Watson. But I haven't seen a ton from Watson. He puts up good stats, but he's been on a bad team. He's had bad coaching staffs. He's been mismanaged his entire career. So we don't.
Which one?
To me, you don't know how good Watson can be.
Hey, so since we're on this, and we'll kick it around the room, I'm going to go off of Russell Webster's question here, or his statement that he thinks that they'd rather have Watson because of his age. I could see that, but on my side, I think Watson might be a little more expensive because of that. I don't know. What do you guys think about, the Watson versus – granted, let's not be picky little bitches, right? Either one of them we're fucking celebrating. We're popping bottles. Yeah, we're popping bottles and we're going crazy. But how much is too much? And are you willing to sell the farm for either of these guys?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't put as much stock into age with Russell Wilson because, first of all, you have a window of 5 or 6 years where the rest of your roster is going to be around in their primes, right? So if you give me 5 years of Russell Wilson with Mac on the roster still, and you win a Super Bowl, maybe a second Super Bowl. I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves. How about we go to one first? But then we've accomplished the job. But the second point is Russell Wilson is right up there with as far as guys that take care of their bodies and guys that could potentially play beyond the average age of a quarterback. This guy invests millions of dollars in the offseason into his training, into his health. So I look at 32 and you might as well tell me he's 28 because he's probably body age wise just the same as another guy at 28. He might even be the same body age as Mac Jones, AC. I don't know if you've seen any of his pictures without his shirt on lately.
Hey, I got a dad bod. I'm not going to hate on nobody.
But that's what I'm thinking, right? Is hey, you got a window to win now. Let's not be too concerned about 8 years, 9 years from now. And second of all, the guy can play for a while anyway, despite the fact of his age. So I don't care. You get either one of those guys. I have no concern, no preference. Beggars cannot be choosers right now.
Yeah, I think Wilson's going to cost less than Watson because of the age difference. If I had to guess, just starting for Watson, you're looking at 3 firsts and 2 seconds and a couple of players. For Wilson, I think you can get away with a couple of firsts and maybe a player or two, which still puts Roquan Smith most likely on this chopping block. But you got to take a swing at a franchise quarterback, man. We've tried it year after year, putting together a great defense and just having enough on offense, and it just hasn't worked out. So go get your quarterback and worry about a linebacker later. And if you can keep some of your draft picks, to me, that's even better. And they say 33 like he's a dinosaur, but Brady just won a Super Bowl at 43. And I mean, Wilson's been hit a lot. That's why he wants out of Seattle. And so I guess he is an actual 33. I wouldn't say he's younger than that because of all the hits he's taken. But, I mean, he can play another 5-6 years easy at a high level, I think.
I just don't
I think
clearly Matt Nagy's a good guy, right? Everybody seems to like Matt Nagy. Has Russell Wilson watched any tape on this fucking team, or is he just putting this? Are they just?
Well,
saying
Jimmy
this
Graham's been recruiting him, I guess.
Well, but come on. I mean, if I'm Russell Wilson, I'm looking at this offense and I'm going, I don't want to fucking be a part of this shit. 80% hitches every once in a while. You get one fucking deep play, deep shot a game. They forget they have running backs. I mean, what? That's been my question, and I posed it to Louis Riddick because he's Matt Nagy's butt buddy, and he didn't even answer it. Why would a quarterback want to come here and play in this shitty fucking offense? What is the benefit to the quarterback?
If you get a quarterback like Wilson, he's not just going to sit there and run his stupid fucking plays. He's going to come up to the line and be like, well, that's dumb. I'm going to run this instead.
I think a lot of this
out of Seattle is he left a team meeting back, I think, in October or November because he wasn't able to provide his input into personnel and scheme. So that's one of the reasons he wants out. It's the O-line, I think, number one. And number two, he wants to provide some input. So, Badge, to your point, I'm like, well, do you know where you're going? Do you realize that?
Yeah.
But they do. They do. And there's got to be something there that we don't see. That he would have us on such a short list.
So
I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong.
Let me spin this real quick. What if Mitch goes to Atlanta or goes somewhere, right? Say he's in Atlanta. I don't know. Or put him on any team, right? I don't care. What if he goes to one of these other teams and he completely sucks? Mitch goes somewhere else Mitch goes somewhere else and he's fucking trash and he's garbage. And it shows that how good Matt Nagy did with a quarterback that's complete fucking trash. And how he had to change up his style to work for Mitch because that's all he could really do. But then he gets Russell Wilson in here and he fucking explodes. I mean, granted, I know everybody and Badge, don't get me wrong. Like in the season, I'm right along with you, right? But you have to go back and look, man. I mean, like collectively as a group, we still had over 1,000-yard rusher and 1,000-yard receiver. I mean,
Totally.
there was a lot of good shit that happened for this offense. And granted, we weren't blowing the doors off of people like Kansas City does, but I think a lot of this is going to come from like what's next for these guys. And then maybe on the flip side of it, you get Wilson and Nagy just shows how bad he fucking is.
Mm-hmm.
And he's out the door, that he can't produce with them. But I think for these guys, I know we had the quarterback talk earlier, right, of drafting and who's where and whatever, but I don't see – these guys have to fucking do something. Even Kyle Long came out on Twitter and said that the Bears have to make a huge splash, or he expects them to make a huge splash to get this read the name, we coming from the north.
Coming for them kneecaps, baby.
Good luck, buddy.
But I mean,
before we
I
go
have
to the next question,
splash, go ahead.
Before we go to the next question, too, I want to hop back and address Ron's question was about what to be optimistic about, right? Like, what's the most like what should we be optimistic about? Russell Wilson is what we could be hopeful about, right? Mm-hmm. You know, that has to happen first, and then all of a sudden we can have some optimism. One thing that I would tell you, Ron, or that I'm optimistic about is the defense returning to dominance.
Mm-hmm.
With Sean Desai, like every interaction we've had, so like including the Pace and Nagy press conference where Nagy talked about the vetting process and talked about surrounding him with guys like Mike Pettin, I believe the defense is going to look a lot more like Vic Fangio's 2018 defense than the last two Chuck Pagano defenses. So for me, what am I optimistic about that's real today? Like, sure, there's hope. There's hope that we make some good decisions in free agency and that a quarterback saves the day. But with the current roster, I think for me at least, I'm optimistic that Sean Desai is going to step in and do a damn good job as a defensive coordinator and get guys playing to their strengths and get us back to Chicago-style defense that we used to be proud about.
Yeah. That 100% agree. Everything we've heard him talk about this whole offseason is hopefully we'll see more of a 2018 team rather than a 2019 or 2020 team as far as defense goes. And get our pass rushers going. Hopefully he can figure out Robert Quinn, man, because that was a guy I really liked signing. And I hated that he just wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? He's produced everywhere else, and then all of a sudden we brought him in here and he did, what do you have, 1 sack, 2 sacks or something?
Yeah, he was invisible. And that was one of the things we talked about last week is like Desai's opening press conference was get the most out of your guys and put your guys in positions to succeed. And I don't know if Quinn was really put in a position to win. Regardless of what position he was put in, he should have done more than what he did. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
And I think injury had something to do with that. But that's exactly what I'm getting at is getting more from guys like Quinn, getting more from guys like Eddie Jackson, and us being proud of our defense again. And let's say we take a swing and miss at quarterback and we have a free agent. Maybe we have Alex Smith, or maybe we have somebody that we don't necessarily have at the top of our list. You could still make the playoffs if you've got that dominant D that you had in 2018. So, again, if it's about optimism, that's where I'm parked right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to end up with Alex Smith, quite honestly. Yeah, I really do. I think I just have a feeling that it's another guy that's familiar with the offense. I mean, you've seen the meme going around on all sorts of social media with Pace and Nagy chatting, and hey, Alex Smith just became available.
Yeah.
Like, I just, it's hard to have confidence and be optimistic. I think you brought up a great point, Mike, in regards to the defense. Sean Desai is saying all the right things right now. And I hope that turns into production on the field, because I love the hard hitting defense, and I really hope that we see Eddie Jackson starting to be used properly as that playmaker, that we missed him as the last 2 seasons. I think back to I got on the topic of why does a quarterback want to come here, and I think back to the season, and you look at when the production started to happen for this offense, and it was after the offense, or the Nagy stepped away from being offensive coordinator. Now, did he really? We don't know, but the offense clearly changed, and that's when you saw guys like David Montgomery really excel because we started running the football. Allen Robinson, because he's a good route runner, and can make contested catches, making plays for his quarterback, and some deeper shots down the field. To me, that's with Mitchell Trubisky as your quarterback. And a lot of hate for the guy. Clearly I know Ryan Pace says everything's on the table. I agree with Mike North. Mitch Trubisky's not on the table for the Chicago Bears anymore.
Yeah.
Mike has said it the last 2 weeks on his show. He really believes that Mitch is done here in Chicago. I feel the same way. There is going to be a new quarterback here, unless it's Nick Foles, because I could see that being the other scenario that plays out as well, that they just draft somebody late and Foles is the starter. To me, those are not swings. Those are fucking sacrifice bunts, in my opinion, because if it's Alex Smith or Nick Foles, and maybe your defense does return to form, but then how are you going to score points other than with your defense and their takeaways? So,
I talked about this on Twitter. If we miss on Watson and we miss on Wilson, say someone outbids us, or somehow the Seahawks make Wilson okay to stay there and play for them, I would much rather either stick with Foles or bring in a guy like Fitzpatrick or even Alex Smith and draft a quarterback in the first round. Whether you've got to, because dude, these quarterbacks are jumping up boards. I'm seeing mock drafts, all 5 of them going in the top 10, top 12. So you're probably going to have to make some moves to go up and get your guy. So that might cost you a first and a second. It might cost you 2 firsts and a second. I mean, we saw the Chiefs do it for Mahomes, where they jumped from 20 to 10. I think it cost them 2 firsts and some extra stuff. You know what I'm saying? So if you want your quarterback, and if we miss on those 2 guys, I would rather take my chances in the draft and get a good bridge quarterback, whether that's Foles, Alex Smith, or Fitzpatrick. All 3 of them have shown the ability.
Yeah. Now with all those guys, right? I'm going to take a little piece from Good Morning Football last week, and pose a question to you guys. With all these guys that we're talking about right now, do any of them outside Watson and Wilson save Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy's job? Or are their jobs safe anyway, and it really doesn't matter who they get? I would say that none of these guys outside of those 2 make a splash for Chicago fans.
Yeah.
Right? But do any of those guys sell the fans on, like, hey, we're going in the right direction?
Who were the other guys again?
I mean, outside of making like a weird kind of, because Atlanta's got the 4th pick, right? This is the same thing I was going to talk about. Atlanta's got the 4th pick. Maybe we make a play on fucking Matty Ice. Maybe Matt Ryan gets brought in here. Who knows? But outside of Watson and Wilson, right? Do any of those players make you more comfortable than fucking Mitch Trubisky? I mean, Nick
As
Foles
a
doesn't for me.
as a fan, no. But one guy who intrigues me, and I'm not saying I would flip this freaking table if we traded for him, and I wouldn't be over the moon excited either. Sam Darnold from the New York Jets. They're going to move on from him because they're going to grab another guy. And he's been in the league for a couple of years. He's been under Adam Gase, who's historically been shown to be a terrible head football coach. The last time he did anything was with Jay Cutler as an offensive coordinator, not as a head coach. So he might be a guy who's young enough to get the fan base to possibly buy in if he can do anything with him. But it's kind of blah to me. It's in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't feel that way about Sam Darnold. So to me, if we're going and we're getting Sam Darnold, I mean, who's he going to throw to? Darnell Mooney and Cole Kmet? Like, there's nobody. He leaves a situation where he had nobody, and he comes to a situation where he's got one receiver and one tight end.
And a running back.
To me,
2 running backs.
yeah. I mean, you got Montgomery and Cohen, but you've watched enough of the Bears since Nagy's been here to know how little of a factor their running backs are. I mean, he tries to create things for the running backs that they just don't execute. I don't know. I just as long as Nagy's here, unless he proves a world of difference, and we make a splash with Watson or Wilson, and this offense really turns into something that's worth a shit, which there's never been one here in Chicago. Sorry if I'm not optimistic about anything.
This old Debbie Downer badge, man. Y'all should see him during the season.
Until it changes, man. Until it changes. What do I have? What is showing me there's excitement?
All season badge. We go down 2 touchdowns, but we'll get a text message from Badge. Well, that's game. I'm like, it's the third quarter. What are you,
dude? Because you've seen it in the Nagy era. There's nothing that excites me about this guy at all. It's a broken record. It's tweeting it out last week. You've got people reciting back word for word what he says every press conference.
Unfortunately, I think that's the reason why they wouldn't talk Nagy and Pace's contract details during that presser at the end of the year, because these guys are for the long haul, and they're trying to keep people buying season tickets and keep people on that list and getting more people on those lists. And I think that's why they wouldn't talk about it, because as salesmen, they know you can't talk about your GM and your head coach being there for the long haul when you have slowly dipped off, right? And you limp into the playoffs, and then you lose, and all these people are complaining about them. You can't use that as a selling factor. So I think these dudes are here for a while, man, and I think that
playoff team. Calm down, bro.
I think they're gonna sell. I think they're gonna sell the farm, and that means
we beat the Bucks.
Like Eddie Jackson,
and they won the Super Bowl.
That's right.
Holy shit! We beat the Bucks, and they won the Super Bowl.
Nick Foles beat the Bucks. So Tony Salamonski said, "Dude, if you want Darnold, you're a dumbass. I'm sorry. I didn't say I wanted Darnold. I said if we miss one of those the guy I want is Russell Wilson. Give him to me immediately. But if we can't get,
I'm just gonna throw some shit at the wall and see what sticks.
You damn right. Throw right here. If I can't get Wilson or Watson, the only one that brings me any sense of optimism is Darnold, and that's literally just because of his age. Nothing that I've seen on tape or or anything like that. So don't get me wrong, Tony.
That was awesome. I was about to say, who asked that question? Russell Wilson or Nick Foles? Get Foles the fuck out of here.
Yeah, dude.
Hopefully Foles is part of the trading package.
Yeah. Or just add him in as like, hey, and we'll even give you Nick Foles as a bonus. They'll be like, no, we're good, man.
No.
we got our third string wide receiver that was a quarterback in college. We'll run with him instead.
Tell Lockie,
Robbie,
you throw the ball, right?
Robbie come up in the chat says, and Bray stays. Probably Robbie. He's the most protected quarterback in the NFL. We talked about that over and over again, and he probably will still be on this roster somehow just to be a thorn in our fucking side.
Call him all day Tyler Bray.
All day Bray. Man, I wish Aldo had that image that I have of Bray where he's in his Tennessee.
One from Tennessee.
Oh man, he just looks like he's fucking lost, man. Let's go over with head. What is it? Dan Kneecaps Campbell. Getting Wilson or Watson would set the Bears back for 7 years. 5 first-round picks. You can't give up 5 first-round picks, Dan.
Yeah, you're not
and
allowed.
Keep players gone. Please do it. Yeah, you can't give up 5 first-round picks, Dan. So
hold up. I know he's not a Lions fan.
From experience.
I know he's not a Lions fan talking about first-round picks. Bro, you had one of the best running backs and one of the best wide receivers in history quit at the prime of their careers because they was just done with fucking Detroit. So, sorry, bro.
But we appreciate you joining, and maybe when it comes time for Lions Week, we can get old Kneecap Stan in here.
Yeah.
But he's got to put knee pads on first, Dan.
Clovers is right though. He's gonna get a monument named after him. You watch. He'll come in like Wilson will get us to the Super Bowl and get injured, and Bray will like just turn around and hand the ball off to Montgomery, and we'll win, and it'll be Bray that gets all the jubilation because he'll catch a touchdown pass like Foles did. Super Bowl MVP! Oh my god!
Was it Bray's gonna play when the movie The Replacements actually takes place? Otherwise, Bray's not fucking.
Nah, Bray's just gonna be. He's gonna be a practice squad player until he retires, and then Nagy's gonna bring him onto his coaching staff. He's gonna be the next upcoming offensive coordinator that blows everybody away. The Byron Leftwich of the future.
Let's take this one real quick. Mule Skinner, find a way to trade no tackle Eddie Jackson and find a safety who can tap in the draft. I honestly, Mule, I think that's probably what happens in the trade package. I think Eddie's gone in the trade package. I think Eddie is sold off quicker than Mac is, but I think the order that it rolls is Eddie, Kyle Fuller, then Khalil Mack. To try to free up some cap while also providing somebody with a defensive player that can actually provide for their team or that they could, like use as a namesake for their defense.
Don't murder me for saying this, but I don't think Eddie Jackson goes anywhere.
I don't either.
No,
I think Sean Desai has a plan for Eddie Jackson, and I think Sean Desai has made it very apparent to Matt Nagy that he expects Eddie Jackson to be a part of this defense and a playmaker in this defense. And I think you would see a Roquan or a Kyle Fuller gone before you saw Eddie Jackson gone, personally speaking. I just think
I agree,
Desai is going to use this guy like he's meant to be used.
I agree too. I think they're more likely to find a box complement to him that can tackle and let Eddie Jackson do what Eddie Jackson does well. Again, going back to what this guy said over and over again, get guys to play to their strengths. So I also think you're going to lose a lot of your safeties this offseason. Like I don't think you have 3 free agents, safeties in Bush, in DHC, and in Gibson. So let Eddie Jackson go. Now you got 4 question marks back there.
Yeah, I just don't think that they're quicker to – I don't agree with you guys that they're quicker to sell Roquan than they are to sell Eddie Jackson. I think Roquan, they're fucking holding down the table and doing everything, offering up anybody they can to keep Roquan instead. So – and that even that goes with the rest of the defense. I think Roquan is their key piece that they want to keep. And everybody else is kind of on the table in a sense.
I think they want to keep him, but him being a young middle linebacker, sideline to sideline, that's an intriguing piece for another team to try and trade for because of those factors.
I feel like it's replaceable, or more easily replaceable, I should say. Not that Roquan's a replaceable player. I mean, the dude's a stud. It's hard to replace an all-pro, but I think the chances of finding somebody in the draft that could grow or develop into a role like that, I think, are greater than finding a ball hawk center fielder like Bojack.
Like Eddie. Yeah. Yeah, I think I think the style of play last year did change up. I don't think that I think they tried to not make him, but they were bringing him up more like they were with Adrian Amos the past couple of years. And Eddie just misses a lot of tackles, man. He's the center fielder. He's back there to deflect passes and pick balls off and that. He's not back there to be the Ronnie Lott or come up and lay the fucking stick down. And I think that style.
They can't do that anymore. It's a fine and a flag and everything else.
Yeah, but I mean, you can make a tackle, and that's something he wasn't doing either. Tony Solomonsky says
Eddie is dog shit. Come on, bro.
He just wrapped it up. Eddie is dog shit.
I disagree. I'll just say that. He had a bad year, but he is not dog shit.
Yeah, and, I was down on him during the season, man, too. But when you're trying to play a guy not to his strength and what he does best, I mean, that's you can't blame the player for that. You got to look at what's being done. And to me, the last 2 seasons, he was not used correctly in any way, shape, or form in Chuck Pagano's scheme. At all. That's, whatever. Yeah, I agree, Clovers. There's no excuses for missing tackles, totally. But, let's see what happens this next season when the dude's got 6 picks and he houses 4 of them. I'm sure everybody's fucking tune will change.
Right again. Back on the bandwagon.
Yeah, that's just how it works. I mean, that's what it is.
That's how it goes, man. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're there, right? And I don't want people to take this the wrong way, but NFL players are there basically for the fans' entertainment. They get paid for producing and for entertaining fans, and a lot of the times people get on that, you're not worth your fucking weight type schedule. and then the next year, Leonard Floyd, the next year they'll turn around and fucking go crazy. And then people are like, oh, he's awesome. He's the best. And look at what the Bears, I can't believe the Bears got rid of this guy. Like, did you see what he was doing when he's here? Right. I mean, you take it with a grain of salt, man, because people are going to say, whatever they want and ride on the highs and fucking kick you in the dick on the lows, man. And that's just kind of the way it goes for all teams, I feel, in the NFL.
Yeah.
Robbie brought up a pretty good point, too, about how Eddie Jackson got paid, and then all of a sudden you started to see the regression, and that happens. Like that, that happens across the league. Guys get paid, and they feel like they don't have to perform anymore. But I think Factor's point about the whole defense progressing under Pagano's system is more so the reason. It's less likely that Eddie Jackson just gave up. So again, I'm on the side bandwagon. The whole the IQ overrules everything deal. Like I'll be rocking the my DC is a PhD has a PhD T-shirt. I think it's.
On top of that, they brought in Pettin to be in his ear to help him because it's his first time calling defensive plays, and Pettin did that for a couple of years in Green Bay. Hopefully, he can help us exploit that offense because he saw him every day in practice.
Yeah, I think he will. And Nagy asked in the presser this week about what Pettin's role is going to be exactly, which we were all kind of like, I don't know, what's this guy? What's this title? We haven't seen this title on this team before. Like, what's he going to be doing? And it sounds like he's just going to be an advisor to the DC. He's going to be, a coach. He's going to be that position we wish we had for Ryan Bates. that football guy that could advise Ryan Pace. Well, we're going to have that for our DC that's inexperienced and, a guy that didn't play ball at the college level, decided, obviously did the NFL level, but he's just a smart guy that the players love, and he gets football. So to have Pettin's experience sitting next to him, I think we're in store for a huge bounce back.
So Ravi had a great comment here in the chat that said, can we talk about how the addition of Eddie Goldman is going to help the defense as a whole? I think we talked about it last week. Just having his big body in there, helps win the run game. We talked about it last week. We got gashed in the run game a lot, and having Eddie back is going to help with that. Not only because you've got him back, you've got Bilal Nichols, who you can kick back out to his natural position at defensive end. And he came in and he struggled at first, but he stepped up admirably throughout the season to play that nose tackle position. But I just think he's a better fit at defensive end. And that's having Goldman back is going to help our entire defense front to back. You talk about Eddie Jackson missing tackles in the hole or whatever. Well, if there's a bigger Eddie there that they got to run through before they get to him, it definitely helps.
Yeah, he's definitely, and I don't think none of us have ever shied away from it. He's definitely a huge piece to this team. Goldman frees everybody up, man. He helps Akeem succeed. He helps Mac succeed. I know we talked about Quinn a little bit earlier, and we all want to see him step up too. I believe Quinn's having that offseason surgery on the drop foot, or whatever it's called. I think it's called drop foot. And he's having surgery on that. Mac is not having offseason surgery, and neither is Jalen. Jalen Johnson's not. That all came out of the presser last week. I think having Eddie Goldman back is definitely a huge plus. And I was actually thinking about this last week. So guys like Goldman who sat out last year, right, and took like the whatever pay, the minimum, right, COVID pay, I don't know if she's fucking stimulus package, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? And now they're guaranteed for this year. I don't think those guys can be cut. So teams that are making, I mean, I guess they could be in the long run, right? But you're doubling up the money because you basically extended their contract for a year. So some of these guys who sat out, I'm not sure if they actually helped themselves for this whole cap restriction year of solidifying their spot on a roster.
That's a good question.
I don't think they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, Clovers. It's the fucking COVID stimulus package, man.
I'm ready for my stimulus to come back out.
We had a Travis Gibson question too in the chat earlier that from Robbie that we didn't get a chance to get to, but I kind of want to talk about Robbie's question with Gibson too. I mean, he's a guy who didn't get a lot of time, was inactive. Like, I think he played week 1 and then was inactive for the next 12, 13 weeks, really before he got any more reps. Man, I liked the pick. I really did. I thought he would be a great addition, maybe get a splash sack here and there. But unfortunately, we just didn't get production from our outside linebackers last year, really much at all. Mac had not 9.5 sacks. Barcavius Mingo was next with 2.5. Gibson himself, I definitely think this dude can be a playmaker for sure. And look at the guys now that he's behind with Mac and Quinn. Quinn, if he really wasn't healthy with this drop foot last year and he comes back and reverts to form and Gibson gets the spell now, Mac and Quinn, I mean, there should be plenty of opportunity for the taking there for Travis Gibson, man. I really think, he was a rookie last year. Now he's coming into his second season. He's got that first season under his belt. If they give him some good opportunities to get to the quarterback, I definitely think he can be a guy that can be an impactful player.
Yeah, he was a 5th-round pick out of Tulsa, so I feel like that's going to be a developmental player. So having this offseason, hopefully they'll have a somewhat normal offseason this year, more than they did last year. Remember, all these rookies that came in, all their offseason work was like us sitting here talking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Except if I was the coach, I'd have a whiteboard behind me showing them plays. Now, some guys will improve from that, but some guys, they need to be out there hitting each other. You know what I'm saying? And I think he'll develop into a better pass rusher. He'll learn more things from being around Mac and being around Quinn. Even if Quinn didn't show it on the field last year, he's got, pick at his brain. He's got years of knowledge of multiple different defenses, and I think he'll be okay. It's just he's a developmental guy. He's a 5th-round draft pick. So
yeah. And I know, Mario Edwards out there at defensive end, and they had schemed him back and forth a couple times, right? And I thought Mario Edwards came and played really well when he did. Granted, the tackles and that, I think he had 4 sacks, but the tackles and that weren't like astounding or nothing. But I think for the plays that he came in as a breather, as a little rest piece, I think Edwards came in and played really well, man. So there's other pieces there, right, that help. And I wouldn't mind bringing Gibson back, man. I think he's, one of those guys that you took a shot on in the later rounds, and he came in and did his thing. And yeah, he's earned, playing time and getting up there for sure, man.
Yeah, without a doubt. I just think great question, Robbie. We get going sometimes here on the show, man, and we get talking about something and sometimes we miss those, but I thought it was something we wanted to definitely touch on, especially with the lack of production from Quinn and whatnot. To bring him up as a guy. Mingo, we talked about Barkevius Mingo last week, and we touched on him a little bit today too. He's a guy I'd like to see back, but I think they were pretty happy with Gibson, and Mingo may be a guy that may be why they re-signed Vaughters. He's cheaper, and maybe they're comfortable with Gibson and Vaughters. Those are things that we don't have inside sources, unfortunately. So those are just assumptions we're making.
This offseason, all those people who do have sources are being called out.
Trash.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Wentz coming to the Bears. Who else? They've had 2 or 3 sources that have been
Bears.
Yeah, and that was another piece from the presser, man, that I really liked what Pace said, where he's like, sometimes you guys will catch on, you'll get something, and you'll run with it. And we are absolutely not moving that way at all. But it's like, because somebody asked him, does he see like social media and this and that? He's like, yeah, but a lot of times you guys will grab onto something and there's no truth to
Nothing
it.
there.
Basically. Yeah, like whatsoever. And he's like, but then there's also times where we're doing a lot of work on something and you guys know nothing about it. And I just thought that was like, hey, look, fuck you and fuck you too. Yeah. Like,
right.
Cool,
like he was just like,
yeah,
like he's got to be sitting there. You would have to think Pace and we'll text Nagy like, yo, you see this shit? Like, dude, we're not going after Wentz. What the hell are these guys?
Come here, look at this. Come here, look at this.
And so I think that's like really, that's a piece to where guys say, oh, I got an inside guy that's telling me this. Well, like. I don't think you do. And I think the
Eagles, people who had, I think the Eagles pushed that narrative out and then just saw where it would run to. Somehow they put out that this is what the Bears are doing, and just to kind of put it out there in the Twitter sphere, and it took off.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that's posturing just to negotiate, and get the Colts a little, consider get them all up their offer. I think there's all sorts of games that are played behind the scenes that we don't get to see. Kyle Brandt said this week, I want to say on Good Morning Football, that he believes what the Bears end up doing will be something that none of us have discussed yet. And I feel like that happens. It's like a name you're like, didn't see that coming. It's because all that stuff just gets so kept so tight behind the scenes.
Yeah,
especially with this organization, they don't tell you anything.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, contract statuses. They don't negotiate in public. Nothing. You don't know anything.
We didn't know Mac was a possibility till a week before we traded for him.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Hey, so let's move to something else. We got a special guest that's going to join us, and I'm going to try to break this down real quick before he comes in and kind of tell you guys what we're going to do here. Badge and I talked about it a little bit last week or a few days ago, but so we have one Allen Robinson signed football left, and the game plan is going to be we're going to bring random people on the show that are in the chat, and we're gonna hit you with some trivia questions. And then, are we still doing this bracket style, Badge? So
no, I think we just have some multiple choice.
Yeah. So we're gonna hit you with some trivia questions, and then, say the guest that joins today gets 3 right, and then on the next show that we do it, the guest joins gets 4 right. Well, he's the new person, and I don't know how you want to do this with the whole breakdown of sending out the ball. Maybe we just do it to whoever gets the most right in the next month, and do it like that. I don't know, man, but you go ahead and take over this trivia show, and let's get this thing moving, man.
Yeah, so first things first, let's bring our guest on, Pervez Varani, man. Welcome to the Barfly Tailgate Show. What is up, dude?
Hey, what's going on? Greetings from Dallas, Texas. First of all, let me make two things clear. I've been a Bears fan since 1982 when I came to the States at the age of 4. Number 2, I hate the Cowboys. Let me tell you how much I hate the Cowboys. All right, I work literally 2 miles away from the Star. All right, I talk so much shit to these Cowboys fans that I make them cry. and I take a great joy in that. Well, the last time you guys won the Super Bowl was 1985. Well, the last time we went to the Super Bowl was 2006. Where have you guys been? Oh, it was the cash. If it wasn't the cash, we would have won somewhere. I'm like, yeah, whatever, dude. So
that's awesome. Well, Pervez, you've got. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
I was going to ask, how did you become a Bears fan?
Well, I grew up in Chicago.
Okay.
So I came here, like I said, when I was 4 years old. I grew up in Chicago. Cubs, Bulls, and Bears. I saw Jordan play. My dog's name is Jordan. Yeah. So then I lived in LA, but I still never forgot about my hometown team. So still been with them for a long, long time. So
love it.
So the next segue I'm trying to get into, I am beyond ticked off at this organization with the QB situation. Okay, like I said, I've been watching them since 1982. All right, Jim McMahon was an okay QB, but he didn't have the arm strength. Okay, I think, in my opinion, the defense carried him. That's my opinion. Then you had Mike Tomlin that came in. Then you had the biggest bust of all, Cade McNown. Oh gosh, that was horrible. Eric Kramer. Then Jim Miller, they went to, the playoffs with them. They got lucky. So now we're to the stage where we got Grossman. He was okay, but, he was just a little immature. Now, say whatever you want to say. Cutler's my guy, okay? I think he's got a bad rap because people don't understand his personality.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
And if he was that bad of a QB, why was he there for 8 years? He could have got up and walked away.
Mm-hmm.
Correct? But he took an ass beating with that horrible offensive line. He had no receivers. You're gonna trust a kick returner to become a receiver? Great idea, but you still need another number 1. Unfortunately, Johnny Knox got hurt. If Knox didn't get hurt, I think he would have been that you go to guy. Okay.
Yeah.
by the time they fix the offensive line, I think this is where Mike Martz and Lovie Smith had their issue. If Martz would have said, you know what, I'll stick with the running game and we have a decent O-line, I think that team would have eventually gotten to the playoff a couple times. The reason why I say that is because the field at Soldier Field, the grass, actually in all over Illinois, that grass is slow. Okay, every time you hit a ball from from short, I mean, whenever you hit a ball from Wrigley Field, the ball slows down by the time it hits the shortstop. That's why you need somebody with a power arm like Baez or whoever was the shortstop is. With that being said, if they would have stuck with the running game and had Marshall, got Jeffrey, and pick up another tackle, I think they would have gone further. If they would have done one thing, if they would have taken Arians over Trustman.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And if it didn't work out with Arians, the second person that they had was Gase. I think Gase could have unleashed that offensive power that the Bears were looking for. But now, it's all hearsay. You can't do anything about it. So going forward, when Pace came in, he did the most stupidest thing in the world where he had $16 million you're going to pay to Cutler for 1 year, and you got Glennon. And what did Glennon do? I'm 40 years old. I bet you I can throw a better ball than Glennon can. You know what? You want me to go out there and play? Fine. I'll get hit for 5 games. I'll collect that $18.5 million. Would you guys collect it? Of course.
Yeah.
All right. And the other problem with Pace is that he was looking for his next Drew Brees. I mean, and when he got so tied up on that and he focused all his energy on Trubisky, I think this is where his downfall is going to come. I don't see the Bears picking up a QB. I don't think Watson's going to come. I don't think Wilson's going to show up. I think they're going to stick with Foles. Because from what I'm reading, that offensive line, the interior line is one of the best ones in the leagues. So you get the center set, you got the two guard set, you just need the two tackles. Massey is, I think, on his way out. Leno, I think he's a decent tackle. I think if you put him on the right side and just pick up a left tackle, you should be set. Pick up a power running back instead of bring back Jordan Howard. Okay, Jordan Howard and Montgomery. I think they'll be your knockout punches because that's what Foles needs. And I think, in my opinion, what's his name? I think Robinson's going to be. I don't think he's going to be with the Bears.
Well, I agree with a lot of what you said, but did you say there at the end to put Leno to the right side and bring in another left tackle?
Yes.
Well, they tried to put him at the right side.
They did? Okay.
He failed.
Okay.
To me, Charles Leno is more of a finesse blocker, which is why he works better on the left side. Okay. On the right side, you want to have that road grader. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so,
yes.
And I feel like a drafted tackle is a better spot there. Okay. But I agree with. I mean, I was like, preach it, brother, the whole time you was talking, man. You talk about Jay. My father-in-law hates Jay Cutler. He swears up and down Kyle Orton was better than Jay Cutler.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
And I told him you're insane. You just don't like Jay. And I've told the story on here before about when he met him at a Vanderbilt game. He was kind of an asshole, but that's just Jay, man. Yeah. And then when you talked about Bruce Arians, man, you missed on that one. I mean, he was the coach of the year, and they brought in a CFL coach instead, which he had decent play calling. He just wasn't a leader of men, and I think that was Trestman's downfall. Yeah. And then they tried to go complete opposite and bring in John Fox, who was an established head coach. He didn't have it anymore.
What does the fox say? Ring-a-ding-ding. All right, Prevent. So we've got a little trivia for you, man. Okay. We're gonna enter you into this little contest. So we've got an autographed Bears Barroom Badge of Honor Allen Robinson football that you'll be entered in to win. I also have some stickers from Audacia Sports. I got a Jay Cuddy sticker already
All right.
primed up for you.
Sweet.
That we'll coordinate after the show, and I'll get sent out to you. A little Smokin' Jay. But we're gonna start. We've got some questions. Aldo's gonna pop them up, and then we've got a little timer there as well. You'll have 10 seconds to answer.
Here's my Cutler autograph football helmet.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
You'll have 10 seconds to answer, and the answers are scrolling across the bottom, so you'll be able to pick from multiple choice. Question 1. Which starter on the Bears' 2006 NFC Championship defense was drafted by the Packers? Was it A, Hunter Hillenmeyer, B, Tank Johnson, C, Adewale Ogunleye, or D, Nathan Vasher? Your 10 seconds starts now.
I say A.
We're going to watch the bomb explode. Oh, no. He says A. And that answer, Eldo, is correct. Hunter Hillenmeyer. So the first question for Pervez is correct. So there is one. And we'll get the next question up here in just a moment. Which running back did not play for both the Bears and the Packers? Is it A, Khalil Bell, B, Edgar Bennett, C, Cedric Benson, or D, Rashaan Salam? Your 10 seconds starts now.
Is he on the screen anymore?
Yeah. Oh, did we lose? Oh, here he is. Hang on. I see him.
Oh, no. That's the fucking bomb blew up now.
We lost it. We're like, wait a minute. Where'd he go? All right. So, I'll read you that one again. We've got which running back did not play for both the Bears and Packers? A, Khalil Bell, B, Edgar Bennett, C, Cedric Benson, or D, Rashaan Salam?
Oh, it's B, Bennett.
B, Edgar Bennett.
Yep.
It was actually D, Rashaan Salam.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Whoops.
All right. So let's get on to question number 3 here. And question number 3 is, which running back drafted by the Bears did not rush for at least 1,000 yards as a rookie with the team? A, Matt Forte, B, Walter Payton, C, Rashaan Salam, or D, Anthony Thomas? Your 10 seconds starts now.
Matt Forte.
His answer is A, Matt Forte. And the correct answer is B, Walter Payton, the great Walter Payton.
Wow, really?
1,000 yards in his first year. That's kind of shocking to me.
Wow. Damn, I'm 0 for 3 already.
Well, you're 1 for 3.
You hit the first one.
You're 1 for 3. You got that first one right.
Okay, well, at least the baseball and batting.
Yeah, don't sell yourself short. Don't sell yourself short.
Yeah.
Confidence here.
You're doing all right, man. All right, so we got a few more for you here. We're gonna give you. I think we're doing 10 questions, right? Are we doing 10?
Holy shit.
Eldo, I can't remember. All right. So on to the next question here. Oh, we're doing 5. Okay.
5 questions.
5 questions. So, question number 4. Can you name 2 of the 4 Chicago-born members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame who played for the Bears?
Oh no. Big Buckus.
So all you got. Let's think of Hall of Fame Bears players, right? And then just fucking take a random shot, man. You gotta throw something at the table.
We have the most Hall of Fame players in the league, so
Rud Grange. Rud Grange.
And one more.
Dick Buckus. I said that already.
Okay.
Count?
So Dick Buckus and Red Grange are your answers. What do we got here, Eldo? Have we got Dick Buckus, George Connor, George House, and George drafted? So you got one of 2. Man, these are some good questions.
It's hard. Jeez.
I'd be doing terrible at this.
Trivia. That's for damn sure. All right, so
I
what
have
did new Lions coach Dan Campbell say in his opening press conference? Is it A, we will bite your kneecap off, or B, we will bite your dick off and swallow it?
Ouch. I would say A.
And that A is the correct answer, that we will bite off your kneecap. So, Pervez, we've got you with 2 of 5 correct answers. That keeps you, dude. Hey, don't count yourself out, man. Yeah, we'll give you 2.5.
Okay.
2.5 because you got buckets.
Okay.
Yep. So don't count yourself out. We're gonna do this here for a little bit, and then maybe on our draft show, the Sunday of the draft is when we'll pick we'll give out the final winner as we go along here. So Pervez, we want to thank you, man, for joining us today. We appreciate it, man. I'll hit you up in the DM and get your address and whatnot, and get a couple stickers out to you, bro.
All right.
And enjoy the rest of your Sunday, man.
Thank you, guys, and bear down.
Bear down, brother.
Bear down, brother.
All right. I'll talk to you guys later.
Later, man.
Yeah, those were some tough questions. Fucking coming in there with the heat. Yeah. I mean, I think I would have got, I don't know. Either way. I would
not have done as good as he did, even, I don't think.
I knew the Walter Payton one, but I knew the Walter one. The only one I knew. Well,
as soon as that first one popped up, I was like, fuck, I don't know who got drafted by the Packers and is on our team. I had no idea.
I knew it.
Aldo said Bobby has a bad track record in trivia.
Bullshit. I was winning. I was winning that trivia show until I fucking hit the daily double and I bet it all, and then I
fucking blew it.
I went straight negative from there. Whatever,
is that
man.
The 100 proof Monopoly game, or
I threw it on the table, and then you're right. I choked. I was winning for a little while, and I just kind of. I think there was a delay. My buzzer was on delay. I think somebody probably set me up for failure.
Had bad Wi-Fi,
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I guess that's just what happens. Brain delay. All right, boys. Well, what else we got here? I know Pervez came in. He got his 2.5 correct. Like we told everybody else, we're going to next weekend. If you want to be on it, if you want to hit up the trivia or join us, send us a DM on Twitter. Send any of us or the Barfly Tailgate Show account a DM. Let us know that you want to be on. We'll set something up. And
I want to see some of these regulars get on, man. 4,000 Clovers, Ravi, the Factor. They're here every week, man. I want to see what these dudes look like.
Yeah, jump on with us, fellas. We'd love to have you on, man. For sure. We'll let you get your. You
can come in. You can drop your little story there, just like our dude today did, and then we'll hit you with some trivia at the end of it.
All right, we're gonna wrap this thing up in a little bit, but let's hit this last piece first. I want to see 2 things. One, your prediction on who the Bears quarterback's going to be, and 2, does Allen Robinson get tagged? We'll start this thing off with Mr. Magic Michael Schaefer. Mike, go ahead, man. What do you think?
Yeah, I do believe that they will tag Robinson. So I think that's going to happen for sure. I don't think he's going to be happy about it, but it, obviously buys us a little bit of time to get that extension done by midsummer. I think it's July 15th or whatever that it's got to happen by. What was the other question? Quarterback? Okay. So, I don't know. Last week I talked about Minshew a little bit. It's, that was my flavor of the week at the time. But I think this week, we all have our flavors of the week. But this week, I think with Alex Smith officially hitting the market and the amount of times that Matt Nagy talks about Alex Smith, I'm not saying I want him here, but I'm saying most realistic. If I was a betting and throwing some money right now, I would say Alex Smith will be our quarterback heading into the 2021 season.
Mr. Ryan Badgley, what do you got, me?
So wait, why did I forget the first part?
Quarterback, and then if A-Rob gets tagged.
Oh, A-Rob. Oh, how can I forget about my guy?
I don't know.
I gotta
That's what I
say,
was
man,
wondering.
some of you fucking Bears fans hating on this dude. I mean,
Yeah, he is taking.
This guy is getting so much saying he doesn't get separation and this and that. The dude fucking is for his career is averaged basically 100+ catches. Let's say 90 catches and 1,000 yards for his career, and people are trashing this dude, saying let him go. I mean, come on, this is ridiculous. Of course, A-Rob's getting tagged. It's going to be the exclusive rights tag. So if he does get something, the Bears are getting something in return. While I don't like it, and I think they should just lock him up long term, because I definitely think this team is better with him than without him. I really hope he is here for the long haul. Unfortunately for him, if he is, I still don't think he's going to have a quarterback who's worth a shit throwing him the football, because I really don't trust this organization. But while I say that, I hope and pray that I'm wrong and that they do get Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson. But I got to agree with my brother Mike, man. I think it's going to be Alex Smith. I really believe that. I don't know if it'll be Nick Foles that's here as well. I think if Alex is here, Nick is gone, and I'm hoping it's a rookie of some sort behind him. And then, of course, Tyler Bray, because he's not going anywhere.
Yeah. All day break. I mean, he's going to be there chilling. All right, AC, what do you got, man?
I think the Bears are going to go all in. They're going to go get Russell Wilson. They're going to, whatever it takes to go get him, they're going to go get him. And I think that's their number one priority. Nagy and Pace are fighting for their jobs, and this is the big swing that they're going to take to try and save their asses. And then they're going to tag Allen Robinson. I don't know what the cap looks like, but they'll tag Allen Robinson with that exclusive rights tag and try to work out a long-term deal from there. And they'll have Russell Wilson there so they can say, look, this is going to be your quarterback. So maybe Robinson will take a little less money to play with a better quarterback here than most places have to offer. And that's all I got to say about that.
That's all.
I didn't want to say anything.
Bobby Bombs?
I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to say anything. I wanted to air it on full screen just with nothing to say. Yeah. So I was just sitting there smirking and not saying a damn thing. All right, so I think
that's a good question.
I think Russell Wilson's the move. I think they're going all in on Wilson. Whether or not Seattle is willing to let him go, we'll see. But he, like we said before, he just has to do the same thing Jay did in Denver. Just not fucking show up. And get moved. I think the backup or the other possibility is a Matty Ice move. I think Matt Ryan possibly, being on the table is a nice little secret move that's out there. Does A-Rob get tagged? I definitely think he gets tagged. I think he gets tagged, and they wait to see where this quarterback thing falls out, and say Wilson comes in or whatever, right? I think if he gets tagged and then that happens, then you see the long-term thing happen. I mean, we're March 15th, free agents can start talking to other teams. March 17th, they can be signed, so they can agree to a deal on the 15th or the 16th, and then March 17th, they can be signed. So I'm sure, the next couple of shows will have, a lot of things to go over. But I really think that Wilson is their move and somebody they want. I think they want Wilson more than they want Deshaun. But I think that also comes down to who's a better fit for what Nagy wants to do and who they have more confidence in.
That's really Russell Wilson right there. That's not Russell Webster. That's really Russell Wilson.
Hey, welcome, Russ.
He should change his picture to like Russell Wilson with a fake mustache on it.
But yeah, man, that's what I think. And who knows? Who knows? I don't know if we have what we need to bring to the table to get any of these guys. There's going to be a lot of stuff happening here in the next couple of weeks. You're going to see either a lot of contracts renegotiated. You're going to see some things changing. You're going to see some people get cut. I think right now we're sitting at like $6 million in cap, maybe a little below that. But there's going to be a lot of things changing, and we know how it goes. A lot of Bears fans are going to be pissed off. I think right now
talking to Eddie Jackson and I think Cody Whitehair about restructuring to drop that cap number. I think, like we touched on before, I think Akeem Hicks is going to be in that camp restructuring so they can lower his cap number for this year, and I think he'll take that. Kyle Fuller, he's not a vocal guy, but I don't know if he'll want to take a pay cut or I don't know how that's going to work, and if he doesn't, he might be a guy that we see traded elsewhere.
I mean, that all comes down to Joey Lane, though, and not Ryan Pace isn't the one who renegotiates contracts for like everybody putting on Twitter that Pace needs to do this with this contract or this. Pace stays out of the contract talks. He's obviously final approval, but Joey Lane does all the contract negotiations and all that with the players. And if I remember correctly, it was probably 2019 where by NFL agents across the league, the Bears were voted like in the bottom 5 for contract negotiations. That agents prefer talking to them. And we still have the same person in place. Joey Lane's still there now. He did well on some of these other ones, right? So we'll see. Maybe that the tide has turned there. But obviously, with the whole Allen Robinson thing, this thing's been going on for a while, and they're not budging. So who knows what size to blame on that? But Joey Lane's got his work cut off for him, man. He needs to free up a lot of stuff, especially if you're bringing in Wilson. There's a lot of things need to be freed up and moved. So we'll see. All that stuff's going to have to start happening soon because you can't just sit and wait for a quarterback and not do anything else.
Right. Doesn't the whole restructuring process mean moving?
So for the audio podcast listeners, the bottom says, what about Cam Newton? I loved Cam Newton in Carolina. I wanted to give him a shot last year, but after going to New England and failing and showing that he can't throw the ball anymore, man. And you want to bring in an overgrown running back, then go get yourself Cam Newton. But I just don't think his arm's there anymore, and it's nothing. I don't know if there's anything you can do about it.
Yeah, I'm not interested in Cam either. I mean, there's other options out there. Yeah,
I don't think.
Mike, what were you saying?
Well, I was going to say about the restructuring. For the way I understand it, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but the restructuring of the deals means moving money out of their base salary and into prorated bonus, which you pay outright, right? So like the player, when you restructure, the player gets that bonus money today. It hits the cap length of the deal. So I think one of the challenges, not exclusive to the Bears, but one of the challenges right now for the Bears is that they don't have a ton of cash to give out because of last season and revenues being down. So I think ideally you'd want to be able to do that, but it would require that upfront payment to the player, unless I've got that wrong.
Yeah, I don't think it always does. I think they can extend it out over a time period, right? And go from there, because a lot of certain bonuses, like you get a fucking camp bonus or something like that. Those things get paid there, but there's other bonuses that can be spread out over the longevity of the contract. And like with Glennon, he had a certain amount of guaranteed money, right, that was spread over the length of the contract. Then he left us and went to Arizona, right? And we were still paying him while he was in Arizona. But since Arizona had also given him a certain amount, it took some money off of the table that we had left on his base contract to pay him. Yeah. So all those things, it does get confusing. Those things all get mixed up. But when a player gets cut or traded, they have to, whatever guaranteed money is left on their contract, they have to be paid that before that gets executed. Regular contract stuff can all offset with different teams, depending on what they're going to pay them.
Right.
I don't know if I made that more confusing or explained it by any means.
Yeah, I think it's just a confusing topic. And on the Cam Newton piece, I don't think he fits.
Yeah.
So one thing we didn't talk about today was the 3 things that Matt Nagy says he's looking for out of a quarterback, right? Smart decision making, the ability to read zone coverage. 2 was leadership skills, and then 3 was mobility, but he could live without it. So to me, he can fit that. So I think as we're thinking about, okay, who's the most realistic quarterback to be on the roster next season, or who they're going to draft, I think we all should be looking at those 3 things. Who's good at decision making? Who's got a good IQ? Probably more of a pocket passer than anything else. And the leadership skills. I think when he talked about leadership skills, that was when he specifically referenced Alex Smith and his specific style of leading guys and being a glue guy. So if that was a clue, maybe it was a clue. But I think either way, as we evaluate options through the draft, through trades, through free agency, I think those 3 things should be things we're thinking about.
I think Aldo had touched on it on a different show earlier this week, that it was surprising that Nagy never said accuracy was one of the things that he looks for in a quarterback, which should be, if not the most important thing, one of the top 2. And I feel like of the people in the draft that check these boxes, I think my guy, Mac Jones, I mean, all he did was lead Alabama to a national championship. That shows leadership. He's a leader of men when he had all these other 5-star guys around him. And I think Mac Jones was only a 4-star guy. He might have been bumped up right at the end when he committed to Alabama, because that usually happens. But he led this team. He's showed leadership, showed accuracy. He's got a pretty deep ball.
Is he there, though? Is he there at 20? And
if he's not, go get your guy, dude.
What are you willing to trade out?
Yeah. I'll trade. Yeah, I would trade.
Remember
2 firsts.
Last time Rod Hayes traded up for a quarterback.
It worked out so good.
You know what I'm saying? And
no, we'll just sit there and hope he falls to us. Come on, dog. You got to go get your guy. If it's the wrong guy, then it's the wrong guy. But
I agree. You got to go get your guy, but I'm going for a proven guy, a guy who's already in the NFL. If
we don't get Watson or Wilson, it doesn't freaking matter. Those are the only 2 guys that bring this offense to another level above what Mitch Trubisky could do. So if you miss on those 2 guys, if it takes a first this year, a first next year, and our second this year, move up and get Mac Jones or Justin Fields or Trey Lance. Those 3 guys are going to be within striking range, I think.
I think
you're not going to get the number 1 pick or the 2nd pick.
Yeah, of course. I think the worst possible scenario for all of Bears fans is that none of this gets executed pre-draft. Because now you're sitting there like, shit, what are we building around and what are we doing? And it's not like any of this has to get executed pre-draft. I mean, there could be a lot of – the Seahawks might be sitting there saying like, hey, well, maybe we try to get a quarterback, and then if we get one, we have the the pieces that we can move us. But I don't know, man. I think it's all this is going to be the key point to finding out what the hell we're doing.
Factor, yes. I'm overrun by dogs today. I've got like 3 in the room here. 2 actually. It was like 3. This guy just jumps on me. Yes, he is at Boston. Factor. My boy. Say hi to everybody out there. You're on the show, bud. You're live today.
What's up, puppy?
There you go.
What's up? What else, man? I think the Bears have to do multiple things too, right? Like that whole idea of everything being on the table. I think Russell Wilson, while I want that to happen, I think the Seahawks don't want it to happen until after June 1st. I don't think any of us want to be sitting here the day before June starts, not knowing what's going on. So hopefully they're addressing it in the draft, and they might even address it through free agency with somebody. So you have 2 guys there, and Russell Wilson's still a possibility June 1st. But if the Seahawks were to trade him, the financial impact is like almost double, I think, to their cap of what they'd have to eat. That's another complicated rabbit hole that I don't really feel like going down right now. But more for them to do it the day before June 1st. So I would trade. I love my dog, but that would be a tough one. My wife would murder me, but
everything's on the table, Mike. Everything's on the table.
They've got a plan.
Marriage would be on the table, and you know what? That's quite all right, I guess.
All right, let's wrap this thing up, man. Let's start it off with Mr. Ryan Badgley. Bad shout outs, and we'll go from there, man. We'll kick it around the room.
Yeah, everybody in the chat, man. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully we're, doing some trivia here. We'll be able to give back to you guys, man, for joining us every week. Get some of you on the show, and hang out with us and get your thoughts and whatnot. So last week I had an emotional meltdown, with my daughter while we had senior night on Thursday night. It was such a privilege and an honor to be able to honor our daughter on her senior night. They did come away with a victory on senior night as well, which was totally awesome. And hopefully soon enough, she'll let me keep the poster that they had made of her. And that will be part of what you see behind me of her kicking ass and taking names, man. So proud of her. She's got 2 games left. She had a great volleyball career here in high school. She doesn't think she's going to play in college because she's focused on, getting those good grades and, doing something and changing the world, man. And just super proud of her and so pumped. Yeah, here she is in action here. Thanks, Aldo. I appreciate you putting this up. She played great Thursday night. Her little tip game right there. She had a fantastic night, her and the other 2 seniors. And we're just super proud of her. She works hard. She plays hard. And she just kicks butt, man. I mean, she totally had a phenomenal career. She goes out a sectional champion because unfortunately here in New York, the volleyball season, they literally got to play 6 games, unfortunately. So they really didn't get a chance to have a season. They got 6 games. They got to be honored. And same goes for a lot of the other schools as well. So just shout out to my daughter for, totally killing it. And we'll be lost without her here next year when she goes to college. That's for sure.
You guys going to be some empty nesters, man.
Yeah, dude. Yep.
Dude, I could already hear the phone calls, Bobby. What the fuck, man?
This sucks. Yeah, I'm already dreading it.
I know.
Yep.
I know. Nice, man. Congrats to Kaylin and that's awesome, dude. And it is. I got one of those posters too. Alexa's got one from volleyball. They're fucking awesome, man. So congrats to her and hell of a job,
Thanks,
man. Let's kick it over to Mr. AC Aaron Current. Shout out. What do you got, dude?
What's up? Shout out to everybody in the chat. We were on the topic of dogs there, which is awesome. I have I have a golden retriever named Wrigley, and he's a big boy. He just turned 5 last week. I got a lot of birthdays in March. My wife's birthday is this upcoming week, so we're gonna go celebrate tonight. And she likes this place called the Storming Crab. I'm not a huge fan, but whatever you want, babe. It's your birthday. So shout out to my wife for always holding me down. She's a freaking saint, dude. She makes sure everything's taken care of so I can come on here and talk ball with y'all. And I just go to work and bring home the bacon, and she makes sure it's distributed correctly. Not that she doesn't work. She's a nurse, so she brings home some bacon too. But nice. So shout out to my wife. Happy birthday, babe. I love you. I know you don't really watch usually, but I'll let you know I gave you a shout out. And I love everybody in the chat. Love coming on and talking ball with you guys. let's go get Russell Wilson, guys. Bear down.
Hey, Reb, bear down. All right, Mr. Mike Schaefer, shout outs. What you got, dude?
I got shout outs to my dogs for not disrupting the podcast too much today. My wife left. She said, you got to take the dogs, and they couldn't be outside because they'd just be barking the whole time. So shout out to you, Rizzo. Shout out to you, Reese, back there. Good job. Bobby on the award. We can't say that enough, how awesome that is. Congratulations on that. And then shout out to everybody else that's in the chat today. Good comedy as always. Shout out to Pervez, especially for coming on, telling a story, going 2.5 and 5 in trivia. I thought that was pretty badass. That's you know what? Because Bobby's always giving me shit after these shows, and they're like, "Why don't you promote your T-shirts?" Well, you know what today, Bobby?
Yeah, Mom.
T-shirts. Yes. You know, it's St. Patrick's Day, and we got a little, somewhat of a Bears-related St. Patty's Day. Kind of a play on the old Beatles T-shirt, old Larry, Daly, McCaskey, and oh shit, the three famous here in Chicago are not too. You don't want to be associated with those three, right? And then we got the classic Chicago Stars and sort of a Gaelic, Celtic type of a deal. So deep dish tees for all of your T-shirt related needs. Weather's warming up. It's T-shirt time. Head to deepdishtees.com and get your summer wardrobe taken care of. There you go, Bobby.
Hell yeah!
Damn straight. Well done. Well done. And we're
out. Whistle.
Yeah, we're working with Deep Dish Tees and Mike there too for some of the barroom swag. We'll be going over the Deep Dish Tees, so we'll get all that set up. Mike's got an awesome setup over there, man. Tons of things to offer. Different, it's all kinds of different sports. Chicago, inside scoop kind of shirts that are on there that maybe that people outside of Chicago might not know, but there's a lot of good stuff in there. So get over to Deep Dish Tees, check it out. Thank you, boys, and obviously for the bad honor. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for holding it down last week. I was watching and I told Badge like I'm gonna hop in, but then you guys, I was 3 hours behind you. I'm waking up from a fucking hangover, and you guys are like almost done. I was like, let's just not do that. So I appreciate it, and then shout out to everybody in the chat, man. To Pervez for hopping on with us. We appreciate it, man, and appreciate your, fandom for the Bears and sticking with us, man. And just, not a lot of people are willing to come out and do a trivia show, man. So I have to say, like, it takes some balls to be like, oh yeah, sure, I'll come in for a trivia show, because people don't know how that thing's gonna roll out, man. And those are some tough questions. And he ended up with a 50% with 2.5. So congrats to him. Hell of a job on that. And then everybody in the chat, man, we appreciate you guys every week. And in there, you make this thing enjoyable, man. You make this thing fun. Like, we could sit here and not do it, but the live shows, man, make it bring a whole new entity to it. And having you guys in there, whether it's Dan and his knee pads, talking about Kevel and the Lions beating everybody, or it's, Clover's Clover's is on one of the wild hairs in his ass where he wants to fucking, just dismantle everything and fucking, like chop, like hang Matt Nagy from the fucking stanchions or something. But either way, man, it's always great having all you guys on, and we what the fuck, and we appreciate this guy's about to get his face bit off. We appreciate we appreciate everything, man. And then stick with us through this off season. We'll get you guys there, get it going. If you ever have anything you want to see on the show or any ideas or whatever, hit us up on Twitter. Or Facebook, or hit up the barroom thread. We're always down for whatever, man. So just let us know. Once again, we appreciate everything from all y'all, and we're gonna leave this with a fat old bear down.
Bear down.
Bear down.